What's good, people? Welcome back to the channel. You know it's a new month, so it's time for me to release my updated NBA tier rankings so far in this season. We're near the All-Star break and more than halfway through the season, so we're finally seeing every team's true colors. And today, you'll see which tiers I think every NBA team falls under. Be sure to check out the previous monthly tier rankings on the channel from January all the way back to October. Also, the only tier that's changed in this video is the F tier, and that tier is the Paulo, Chet, or Jabari tier, because those teams need to go get Paulo, Chet, or Jabari. Yeah. Besides that, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into me triggering NBA fan bases. First up, the Philadelphia 76ers. Look, they got James Harden. Like, come on, bro. Like, look at Daryl Morey. Just look at Daryl Morey. Look, the Sixers got James Harden, MVP favorite in Joel Embiid, and they got the plethora of talent. This team can make it out of the Eastern Conference. It's just that simple. I think they can do it. It's just getting the job done. The dynamic duo of Joel Embiid and James Harden, if they can get that right, it's going to be problems in the Eastern Conference. But credit to them. We'll see what they can do. The Washington Wizards. They're a maybe team. I think that trading for Kristaps Porzingis wasn't a bad trade, but I do think that in this Eastern Conference, there's not enough talent on the Washington Wizards to really make any noise. And with Bradley Beal out for the rest of the season, let's be honest, the Washington Wizards, y'all not really a threat. But I do think that going forward, you guys could probably make some noise in the future. But right now, yeah, nah, bro. Nah, bro. Nah. ATL. I'm not doing that again. That was so bad. Anyways, ATL, y'all are a maybe team. I will give credit. You guys have looked better over the past few games. You guys went on a little winning streak, but to start the season off in a slump compared to what you guys did last year, this season has most certainly been a disappointment. But I do think that Atlanta, when y'all put it together, y'all are a dangerous team to deal with. Atlanta's got to look more consistent. If they look consistent, they could probably move up. But I do think that what we've seen all year, there's question marks all over this team, and we'll see. But if they can look consistent, they for sure will be in the playoffs. But right now, it's a maybe, bro. It's a maybe, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cleveland, they're missing something. I'm putting them in missing something. Look, I had them down as soon but not yet to begin the season, but they proved me wrong. Now they picked up Karis LeVert, who can add some playmaking. I talked about this in one of my previous videos. Go check that out. Matter of fact, go check that out after this video, like right now. I think that they're just a dangerous team playing with house money. You could probably put them as sleepers, but I think that with what they have on that team with the vets and the young guys, that's a team that that gets up and plays. So they can shock some people. They can shock a lot of teams, bro. But I gotta give credit to Cleveland. They're one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, and they've been playing great basketball. Next up, the Detroit Pistons. You know what's up. Like, come on. Like, let's not even act around. I do like y'all picking up Marvin Bagley. I think that's pretty good. Giving him a shot to see what he can do on your team. Cade Cunningham has looked really good as of late. Yeah, come on. Like, there's not much to talk about. Come on, Detroit. Let's get out of here. Come on, bro. Come on. Indiana, soon but not yet. Look, I am proud of Indiana for listening to what I said last time. I said blow that shit up. And what did y'all do? Y'all blew that shit up. Good shit, Indiana. Y'all picked up Tyrese Halliburton. You got some picks. You got expiring deals. Indiana, I ain't gonna lie, in the Eastern Conference right now, they not on shit. But in the future, they can make some moves. I think that they're gonna be a team in the future that can make a lot of quality deals to improve their team. But congrats to you guys for blowing it up. Good job. Good job, Indiana. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee, NBA Finals team. I ain't gonna lie, they have the best player in the game right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I will say this about Milwaukee, because I think people will look at the standings and say they haven't looked great, but they need to be healthy. I do like the fact that they picked up Serge Ibaka too, but I think that in the playoffs, they haven't looked as great as last year. But as the season continues, when we get into March, I gotta say this team look a lot more threatening, especially on offense and on defense, but we'll see. Next up, the Toronto Raptors. Sleeper team. I'm finally happy to talk about the Raptors because I was actually disappointed. I didn't think they were going to be a good team as of the last few rankings that I've done back in like November and December. They were looking like a mid team, but finally they've got into a rhythm. Pascal Siakam looking like the guy, the spin cycle Pascal that was an all-star. Fred VanVleet is an all-star. You have OG and Gary Trent looking great, and of course you got the rookie and Scotty Barnes, and the bench is now playing better. That entire team is lengthy and long. Okay, I ain't even say it like that. Like, you know what I mean. Toronto's a scary team. I think if they fall into that 6th seed or maybe even a 7th seed, they can give some teams some problems. And I think that they're a sleeper team. If they keep up their winning streak and they keep up their level of play, they're gonna be a problem. The Mavericks, another sleeper team. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Kristaps Porzingis trade, but Luka Doncic has been looking like Luka Doncic that we know. He didn't start the season off right. What they find, he's finally getting back into that rhythm, that Luka magic. I do think that Dinwiddie and Bertans wasn't a great trade, but two more guys that can help Luka, but you know, we'll see. But I think that the Mavericks are a dangerous team to look at, especially in the Western Conference, if they can continue their consistency on both ends of the court. Next up, the Denver Nuggets. Denver's a sleeper team. Like I said before, Nikola Jokic, how great he is, you got to watch out for him. And what we've seen now, what the reports are, is that Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray might be back. If those guys are back, that changes the entire Western Conference, because what Nikola Jokic is doing with Frank Campazzo and Austin Rivers, yeah, you put in Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray in the pick and rolls, it's a different game, bro. It's a different game. And if those guys get back, gonna be different in the Western Conference, dog. It's gonna be different. Next up, the Memphis Grizzlies, missing something easily. I ain't gonna lie, people will probably think I'm too high on the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are good on offense and on defense. And John Morant is, look, I know we don't talk about him being MVP Rose, but he's having a great season. And I ain't gonna lie, this nigga's bounce is crazy. Why is he bouncing? Like, how can he? The Grizzlies are great. They got a lot of talent. They're the 4th youngest team. I think that, again, like the Cavs, they're playing with house money. They're not even supposed to be here, but they are there. I ain't gonna lie, they got the 3rd best record in the Western Conference. They're that good. The only reason why I don't put them in the NBA Finals tier is because I don't know if they're those guys yet, and we'll see in the playoffs. But I gotta give them credit right now. They're one of the top teams in the Western Conference in the entire NBA. Next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been a mid-team to me. They got a good core. They got D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Cat. I just don't think that they've been consistently mid. Like, they've been inconsistent, but consistently mid. If that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah, okay, bet. They haven't really proven to me that they're one of the better teams that can make a push to be a sleeper team the entire season. And I think that as we go along and we conclude this season and gets in there, the play-in tournament, they'll be a team in the play-in tournament. I don't think they'll be a top 6 team. I don't think they'll be in the lottery, but we'll see. The question marks on the Timberwolves, again, they're like all the other teams in the maybe tier. They just, I don't know what y'all got. I don't know. Y'all gotta prove it to me, man. Next up, the San Antonio Spurs. Credit to the Spurs, man. DeJounte Murray, all-star. I was telling y'all about that boy back in the beginning of the season. And now, at the trade deadline, they got 3 first-round picks going into this NBA draft. They got a lot of cap space, tradable contracts, DeJounte Murray that you can build around. Keldon Johnson was a really good player. People don't talk about them a lot, but I think that going forward, like the Pacers, they're a team that you have to think about, like, hey, they can make a lot of good moves, and we'll see what they do. But this season, of course, is over. But, you know, going into next season, we'll see what they do. Next up, the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz, I think y'all are always gonna be missing something, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I just can't. When I talk about the Jazz, I told y'all beforehand, the reason why I don't put them in the NBA Finals tier is because against elite teams, I'm not really impressed. With Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, great tandem, 2 All-Stars. I just think that I just don't know. I don't know about the Utah Jazz. I think losing Joe Ingles was pretty big. They're a team that if they can stay consistently good going forward as we end the season, I might change my mind. They're a dangerous team in the playoffs, of course, but I don't think they're in that tier of NBA Finals teams that I actually fear. But you guys let me know in the comment section about the Utah Jazz. You'll probably disagree or agree. You let me know. Next up, the LA Clippers. LA's a maybe team. And let's talk about this first. Again, missing 2 All-Stars in Kawhi Leonard and PG. Their team is an 8 seed. So credit to Ty Lue and the entire roster for at least making this season something. Because I think that a lot of people, again, I've said it before, a lot of teams would be a bottom, like in the bottom tier of the conference, but the Clippers are not. And I think that picking up Robert Covington and Norman Powell is going to be big for next year. Because I think that when this team is healthy, they're for sure an NBA Finals team. But right now in this season, I don't think they'll be on anything. But again, credit to them for at least being a middle of the pack tier team without their best players. So yeah. Next up, the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are so good. I'm gonna put them above every other team for the rest of the ranking. They're just that good. Chris Paul, he's not going to MVP, but he deserves MVP consideration just because of how great the Suns are playing. They literally are head and shoulders above every team in the NBA. I don't think, no, as a matter of fact, they're the favorites to win the championship. I don't think any team right now can beat them in a 7-game series. And everybody on that team is great. Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, an elite defender, Jay Crowder, Ayton. People, it's just a team where everybody does their job to the fullest extent. Like, everybody does their job. The group project is an A+. Everybody doing their thing. So the Suns, man, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna beat these guys, bro. I really don't know. Next to the Portland Trailblazers. Portland, y'all blew it up, but didn't get much back. And you guys have one thing for sure: Damian Lillard and the grind. Damian Lillard, I don't know what type of fetish you have with working hard, but credit to you, man. But I think Portland, again, you guys have a good plan. Anthony Simons, Nasir Little's really good too. But I think that going into next season, you guys have a lot of cap space. You guys have opportunities to make some shit shake in the offseason. But knowing you guys probably won't. But at least you guys have Damian Lillard in the grind. So if anything else, you guys have that. Yep. Damn, you are so dumb, bro. The next team, Sacramento Kings. Sacramento's a maybe team, and I think a lot of people will probably question this because I know they traded Tyrese Halliburton. I was not a fan of it, but I do think Sabonis, again, he's an all-star caliber player with De'Aaron Fox, and the fact that the Kings brought in some other role players in Dante DiVincenzo. The Kings can definitely make some shit shake as we end this, as we hit the latter stages of this season. I don't think that the Kings are a team that can be feared, but I think they have enough talent to make it into the play-in tournament for sure. Like, they can definitely do that. I think the Kings front office really wants to just make the playoffs. Like, they haven't had the playoffs for 14 years, bro. Like, it's time for y'all to make some noise, bro. Make some drastic decisions. And I think that's what led to the Tyrese Halliburton trade. But the Kings with Sabonis and Fox, they're 2-0 so far. So, and we'll just see. Again, if they don't make the playoffs, then that's, That was just dumb. That was just stupid. Next up, the New York Knicks. New York. From last year, a disappointment. They're not a team that does anything great. They're not a great defensive team, not a great offensive team. I think they're the 12th seed right now in the Eastern Conference. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. The best bet for the Knicks is making the play-in tournament or maybe turning the corner. But with how inconsistent the Knicks have been all year, that shit not happening, bro. It's just not happening. I don't believe in it. But yeah, the Knicks. I damn near want to put y'all here, but I'm gonna hold out hope. Maybe y'all can make some noise or do something. Nah, I don't see it, bro. Next up, the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans is a maybe team, and I was gonna put them as soon but not yet. But at the trade deadline, picking up CJ McCollum and Larry Nance, I think you guys can make the play-in tournament. And again, you guys, like I made fun of y'all beforehand. You guys have been, consistently mid, but I think this was a good step in the right direction because CJ McCollum is a vet who can help you guys in the perimeter scoring aspect. And when Zion gets healthy, it's going to be a problem in New Orleans. I think you guys have a lot of good scoring threats. As long as you guys can get that defense intact, if you guys can stay consistent going into April, they could be a team that a lot of people might sleep on, and they could find themselves in a spot in the play-in tournament. But we'll see. I think New Orleans made a good decision picking up CJ McCollum, but we'll see if it all pans out. Next up, the Hornets. Hornets, a maybe team. Again, I had you as a sleeper team, I believe, like 2 months back. The Hornets are a young team, but they're also inconsistent. Their offense, so many options. And Miles Bridges, all-star LaMelo Ball, credit to him. But y'all's defense is atrocious. Like, y'all don't even play defense, bro. Missing Gordon Hayward is also a big punch as well. But I really want to see you guys make it to the playoffs because y'all were so close last year. You just got to get it together. And I think the Hornets have what it takes to get into the playoffs. But the inconsistency at times is just really just throws me off with the Hornets franchise. Next up, my team, the Houston Rockets. There's not much to really talk about here. We need one of these three guys. Yeah, it's pain talking about us right now. But I do think that Kevin Porter Jr. has turned the corner. He looked really good at times. But the Rockets, yeah, they need one of these three guys to really make some noise going forward next year. Which we will. We will be good next year. Trust me. Mark my words. Like, we're going to be nice. We're going to be nice next year. No cap. Next up, the Miami Heat. Miami, I'm so sorry. I can't. I literally can't. I can't. My thing about Miami is this. Miami has a deep roster. They have a lot of good guys, and I think that this team can play crazy defense. My only problem with Miami, you know what? Actually, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna put them up here. They've been one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference since December, and they've been doing this without their best player in Jimmy Butler at times. So I'll give credit to the Miami Heat. I will say this though, they might be on fraud alert. But I really hope I'm wrong on this, bro. I really hope I'm wrong. But that's the thing. They're so deep, but. Oh God, I'm not even gonna sound like that. But listen, I don't know, Miami. We'll see, man. We'll see. But when I can't deny the fact that they've been the best team in the Eastern Conference. They've had the best record in it. They have had the best record in the Eastern Conference. They stayed afloat. They've had great wins. I can't do it. I gotta give credit to the Miami Heat, bro. Y'all gonna kill me in the comment section. I feel it. Next up, the Chicago Bulls. Chicago is missing something. I don't know. I don't know what it is about Chicago. As of late, a lot of games that I expected them to like compete in or win, they've lost. And I don't. Maybe it's just a little slump. Man, they'll probably be back in the NBA Finals tier, and I think they're still a team that's dangerous. And I think really the problem is the fact that with Caruso out and Lonzo out, this team looks very vulnerable. But I think that when they get those guys back, they'll probably be in a situation where we can say, you know what, they're still a threat. But yeah, that's probably going to be like a short-term thing, but we'll see. The Brooklyn Nets. Look, the Nets are in trouble. Picking up Ben Simmons and everybody else in that trade was great, but for this season right now with KD, when we don't know he's going to be back, when Ben Simmons is going to play, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. There's a high possibility they may not make the playoffs, and I think people need to realize that. But I do think that when they're healthy, they're definitely going to be an NBA Finals tier team. But in this season right now, with Kyrie playing part-time, KD being injured, and Ben Simmons, we don't know when he's playing, it's going to be rocky. It's going to be very rocky. But as a Houston fan who owns your pick, shout out to boy Kyrie. Shout out to Kyrie, man. Shout out to Kyrie. Next up, the Thunder. Again, there's not much to talk about here. Shea's injured. I will say Giddey. I like Giddey a lot. I will say one thing about Giddey. This is probably gonna be off topic, but look, I think Josh Giddey is gonna be one of the few players that you need on a championship level team, but he'll be like a third or fourth option. And that's probably what he'll be his entire career. He may never be a 20-point per game scorer, but I think his skill set and what he provides, as he gets older and he matures in the league, he's gonna be one of the better players that teams are gonna wanna get when they're looking to win a championship because of what he provides. But yeah, that's your one positive for OKC. Now the Warriors, Golden State Warriors, finals tier. This is me recording this video after Klay Thompson revived himself and dropped 30 against LeBron and the Lakers. I had nightmares. I had PTSD in that game. I cannot lie to you. That game, I didn't sleep well. But the Warriors, again, without Draymond, they're staying afloat. Still the second seed in the Western Conference. At times, Curry has not looked good. I'm going to say that right now. He hasn't looked as great. The entire team is deep. It's a deep roster. And I think that with Draymond back, and when they finally get Wiseman, this team is going to be a problem again. And I think that they're the only threat to the Suns in the Western Conference. That Suns and Warriors matchup that I hope we get in the playoffs, it's going to be crazy. 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 But yeah, credit to the Warriors. One of the teams that I think can make it to the finals. Boston Celtics. Boston is a sleeper team. 9-1 in their last 10. They just beat the Hawks today. I think Boston has finally figured out what they're doing, and picking up Derek White has been probably a big blessing for this team. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, they're finally one of the top defensive teams. This is the team that I expected to see when people were talking about the Boston Celtics being a contender. Now it's just putting it all together, and I think that, you know, early in the season, they didn't look great. Right now, I believe they're the 6th seed. If they can keep this up, who knows what they can get to in this rankings. I think they can be a team that people are really, really going to fear. Second to last team, the Lakers. The Lakers are a maybe team, and I like the Nets. The Lakers have a high chance of not making the playoffs. It's that bad. I expected them to make a move at the trade deadline. They did not. This roster is just not good enough to compete with the high-level teams in the Western Conference, and I think that the only way the Lakers make any moves or any noise going in to the end of the season is LeBron James and AD playing ballistic basketball, playing crazy. Can they do it? Yes, but this team, it's just not good. And I talked about the Russell Westbrook stuff, and I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. He hasn't looked great, but he isn't the main problem, but he is probably one of the bigger problems, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But the Lakers got a lot of issues, and I don't think there's not enough time to solve them. I don't know. Sorry, Laker fans. In the last team, the Orlando Magic. Look, Orlando, again, just like the top 4 teams here, we're all fighting for that number 1 pick. All right, so like, look, but as of late, Jalen Suggs has been looking good. So credit to y'all again, because I think people were talking about Jalen Suggs being a bust, and that was so stupid. But again, like Pistons, Rockets, and Thunder, we need Paulo Jabari. So like, we gonna see in May, bro. We gonna see y'all in May, man. But that concludes the tier rankings for February, man. This is coming to the point where now we're seeing teams of where they're really gonna be at as we get to the end of the season. I think a lot of the teams now is now or never, and some teams are just coasting. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you guys disagree or agree, let me know in the comment section, because I know you guys are definitely gonna say something about it being an L plus ratio plus A Disney plus bubble or whatever the nonsense y'all niggas be talking about. But if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, stay on beat.